Your soulmate is sitting alone right now. And they are writing you a message they may never send. Don't skip, because what is happening in that quiet room at this very moment is not simple longing and it is not casual nostalgia. It is something far more urgent and far more honest than either of those things. Your soulmate has been staring at a blank screen for longer than they would ever admit to anyone. And the words appearing and disappearing beneath their fingers carry the weight of everything that has remained unspoken between you for longer than either of you deserved. Stay with this, because the message did not begin today. It began weeks ago. Maybe longer. In the small hours of a night when sleep refused to arrive and the silence of an empty room became too loud to ignore. They opened a blank message addressed to you and typed 3 words before stopping. Deleted them. Closed the app. Told themselves it was too late, too complicated, too likely to be misunderstood without the full context that a single message could never properly contain. But the message never fully disappeared. It lived inside them. Growing. Collecting every unsaid thing that passed through their mind each time your name arrived without warning in the middle of an ordinary moment. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. Tonight it is back. And this time it is longer than 3 words. Your soulmate is sitting in a light that is softer than daylight. The kind of light that exists in rooms where important things happen quietly. There is no one else nearby. No distraction available that feels strong enough to pull them away from what they are trying to do. They have tried distraction already tonight. It did not work. Because some things refuse to be postponed past a certain point. And whatever is moving through them right now has reached that point. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The message they are writing is not following a plan. That is what makes it different from every other version they have attempted before. Every previous draft had structure. A beginning designed to soften the opening. A middle section arranged to explain the timeline of events in a way that made their choices sound reasonable. An ending crafted to leave the door open without appearing desperate. Careful. Managed. Controlled. This one is none of those things. This one began with your name and then continued in the only direction honesty knows how to move. Forward. Without looking back to edit. Without stopping to calculate how each sentence might land. Just forward, into the truth, one word after another, for the first time without a filter standing between what they feel and what they are allowing themselves to say. Don't skip, because this is where everything becomes real. They wrote about the last time they saw you. Not the version of that memory they share when someone asks how things ended between you. The real version. The one where they noticed something in your expression that they have been thinking about ever since. Something that told them you were waiting for them to say something important. Something that made them understand, even in that moment, that the right words existed and that they were the only person capable of offering them. They said nothing. They let the moment pass. And they have been living inside the aftermath of that silence ever since. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The message continued. They wrote about the days that followed. How the first week felt manageable in the way that shock always creates a temporary numbness that resembles strength. How the second week was harder. How by the third week they had stopped pretending, at least privately, that what they were feeling was something that would simply resolve itself with enough time and enough distance. Time did not resolve it. Distance did not dissolve it. What they felt simply remained. Unchanged. Inconvenient. Impossible to reason away no matter how many rational arguments they constructed against it. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. They wrote about the night they almost called you. It was late. Later than was appropriate for a casual conversation. But the feeling moving through them that night had nothing casual inside it. They found your name in their contacts. Held the phone. Felt their heart rate increase in a way that had nothing to do with fear and everything to do with the particular electricity that has always existed between you specifically. Then they put the phone down. Told themselves morning would bring a clearer head. Morning came. The clearer head did not. They wrote about the song that found them unexpectedly 3 weeks ago. They will not name it in the message because naming it feels too exposing. But they described what happened when it reached them. How they were in the middle of something entirely unrelated and the first few notes arrived and suddenly they were not in the middle of that moment at all. They were somewhere else entirely. Somewhere that had your presence woven through every detail. They sat with it. All of it. Until the song ended and the ordinary world returned and they were left with the particular silence that follows something that has moved through you more deeply than you anticipated. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The message kept going. Past the point where previous versions had always stopped. Past the carefully constructed boundary they had always maintained between what was safe to admit and what felt too large to put into words without changing everything. They wrote about what they miss. Not in general terms. In specific ones. The particular way a conversation between you could shift from light to something genuinely meaningful without either of you having to signal the transition. The way your presence in a room changed the quality of that room in a way they have never been able to adequately explain to anyone else. The specific experience of feeling completely received by another person. Of saying something true and watching it land without defense or deflection. Of being known. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. They had not realized how rare that was until it was no longer available. They had assumed, the way people assume about things they have always had access to, that this quality of connection was something that existed in varying degrees with most people they would ever encounter. They understood now that this assumption had been wrong. What existed between you was not a version of something common. It was specific. Singular. And its absence had taught them something about its nature that its presence never quite had. Stay with this, because the next part of the message is the one that took them the longest to write. They stopped several times. Got up. Moved around the room. Came back. Read what they had already written. Continued. The words in this section arrived more slowly than the others. Not because they were uncertain about what they wanted to say. Because they were uncertain whether they had the right to say it. Whether enough time had passed. Whether the door they were attempting to open was one that still existed or whether silence had sealed it so completely that no honest message could find its way through. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. But they kept writing. Because stopping at that question had already cost them more than continuing past it could possibly cost them now. They wrote that they think about what might have been different. Not obsessively. Not in the way that prevents someone from living their present life. But in the quiet, honest way that surfaces when defenses are down and the truth is allowed to move freely. They think about the version of this story where they said the important things when the important things needed to be said. Where they trusted the connection enough to be vulnerable inside it instead of protecting themselves from it. Where they chose honesty over the appearance of composure. They think about that version often. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. And then they wrote the sentence that made them stop completely for several minutes after it appeared on the screen. They wrote that they are still here. Not in the physical sense of proximity. In the sense that matters more than proximity. The feeling that has always belonged specifically to you has not moved. Has not been replaced. Has not faded into something manageable and impersonal the way they half hoped it would, because fading would have been easier than this. It has simply remained. Patient in a way that feelings are not supposed to be patient. Present in a way that defies the logic of time and distance and all the practical reasons it should have resolved itself by now. They are still here. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. After that sentence they put the phone down again. Face down this time. And sat in the quiet of the room for a long moment. Because writing that truth and sending it are two entirely different things. Writing it is an act of honesty with themselves. Sending it is an act of courage directed toward you. And courage of that particular kind requires something they are still gathering. They picked the phone back up. Read the message from the beginning. All of it. Every honest and imperfect and unguarded word of it. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They are still sitting with it now. The message is complete. Your name is at the top of the screen. Everything they have been carrying for weeks, maybe longer, is contained in what they have written. And their thumb is hovering over the one option that changes everything. They have not pressed it yet. Not because they have changed their mind. The decision to tell you the truth has already been made. That decision lived in every word they wrote tonight without looking back. What they are sitting with now is something different. The particular suspended moment that exists between deciding to do something courageous and actually doing it. The breath before the leap. The last second of a silence that is about to end. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. They are thinking about you in this moment. About how you might receive what they have written. Not with the controlling hope of someone who needs a specific response. With the open and slightly terrifying hope of someone who simply wants to be heard. Who wants you to know the truth of where they have been and what has lived inside them during all the time that passed without explanation. They want you to know they never stopped. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Whatever you have been feeling in the quiet moments. Whatever has surfaced in you during the spaces between the noise of daily life. Whatever question has lived unanswered somewhere inside you about this connection and what it meant and whether it was ever as real as it felt. Your soulmate is sitting alone in a room right now holding the answer to all of it in their hands. And they are almost ready to give it to you. The message is written. The truth is contained. The silence that has lasted longer than either of you deserved is standing at its own ending. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you. All that remains is one small movement. One decision to stop protecting themselves from the vulnerability of being completely honest with the one person who was always meant to receive that honesty. They are sitting with your name on the screen. They are breathing. They are ready. Stay till the end. Because some messages were always meant to be sent. And this is one of them. Something huge was waiting for you. And now the waiting is almost over.